Melissa here from GirlGoneFishing, and today I'm out with my buddy Michael Grimsley, and we are up at his private fishing lake, Lake Freedom, up a little bit north of me in Ohio. It's a gorgeous day in early December, and I have one more weekend before Perfect North opens, and I'm a ski instructor until the middle of March. So gonna take advantage of this and have a great day. Let's get some fish. All right, Michael wins first fish. Nice. What a way to start the day. What's the water tone? The fish are suspended, so like in 30 feet of water, the fish are hanging out at about 10 feet and they're not eating. So we're not quite sure what to do yet. We're gonna keep working on it. I've run through like a chatterbait, a crankbait, a blade bait, a jig, and and a weightless fluke because I already had that tied on. But I'm gonna see if I can find some sheltered water and try a weightless Senko to some of the trees near the shoreline in the shallow. And you know, that's not really the kind of thing you do in 20-mile-per-hour winds, but we're pretty sheltered here in this little bowl. So this is really fun. It's a gorgeous day and I am so happy to be out on the water. So one fish that I know nothing about is trout, and there are trout in this lake. And so I just talked to Michael, and he said that he thinks that's probably what I saw on those wakes, because it was just wild. Like this big wake started coming towards me, and like it kind of looked like a pod of dolphins or something. And then like right when it got to my boat, it split and went around me. Oh, I see him again. Can't get it to bite, but that's just wild. It's something like just under the surface that's big enough to make a wake but not break the surface at all. And there's a bunch of them. He got a trout. Zooming over for trout pics.
Settle down there, buddy.
Oh, did you see that? An actual ring. There was a ring on the water. Fish activity. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm gonna run up and grab another jacket. You need anything? Oh!
Oh, there you go. That's big, whatever it is.
No, I don't. Oh, it's a largemouth. Rookie landing. All right, nice. Got one. Woohoo! He's a nice one too. He's cold though. All right, thank you. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I am so glad I went back to the car to get another layer. I was getting really cold, and now we're out in the full force of the wind, and I am toasty warm with my extra down on top. I also took the opportunity to trade out my Hobie polarized floating sunglasses that are for full sun and get my Hobie Woody Sport polarized sunglasses with the amber lenses that are much better for the low light conditions, because it was getting a little dark to see even in the dark sunglasses. So right now I'm fishing with a blade bait. This is something that excels when the water gets colder, as far as I can understand it. Although if you follow my channel, there have been many days with my buddy Scott, whose bass boat I used to fish on before I moved to Florida. We've had some epic days with this bait. You can get the fancier ones, you know, that have like better eyes and stuff, but I have seen firsthand this work over and over again. And what's kind of cool is see the clip on the top. You can change what hole it's in. I have it in the middle hole, but if you put it in the back hole, it goes more nose forward. If you put it in the front hole, it goes a little more horizontal. I have it a little bit nose forward, so it looks like a falling, like, you know, dying bait fish maybe. So that's what I'm giving a try here. That's what I just caught my largemouth on, and I've watched Michael catch 3, I think, on one just like this. So I just threw my blade bait way up in a tree. I'm going to say the wind caught it, but we're going to try to stage blade bait rescue. It's up there.
Well, you hold the tree down on the back.
Oh no. Come on. Ah, there we go. Here is a very important tip for if you get things stuck in trees, around bushes and rocks. Check your line. So it looks fine, right? But when I feel it, it is so nicked up. So these are points of weakness that if I caught a fish, it would just break and then break my heart. So I'm going to clip this off and retie it into a fresh part of the line. So check your line. Aw, don't be discouraged. Enjoy the beautiful day.
You are the Bob Ross of kayak fishing.
I'm having such a good time. I'm really enjoying myself. And any second, another fish is going to randomly come hit one of our lures, which is going to be very
look right
exciting.
here. Those are all fish right there.
Yeah. So that's why they were hitting it up at the boat.
Yeah, they're following it back. That's kind of why that tailspin, you can kind of use it like a blade bait, or you can kind of swim it with that little...
Like, I'm totally stealing your memory card for my video.
I'll have to erase all the ones that I took of me pissing before I got...
So you guys might have noticed that once again I don't have electronics, I don't have a fish finder, and I'm really so over this whole situation. But this time I charged my battery, it was working fine, but my over-the-side transducer arm, because for some reason I can't use the Lynx transducer mount under this. I can't remember why. Side imaging. It'll shoot down imaging through the transducer cavity, but it won't shoot side imaging really clearly. So I use an over-the-side transducer arm. But this transducer arm has like a whole bunch of joints in it, like connections, and they've all become loose. The last time I used it, they all just got loose and started flapping around. I needed an Allen wrench. I didn't have one with me. So I've purchased an Allen wrench, but I have not finished the project and tightened up the transducer arm. So when I got here today, I realized that my T-bolt that goes into the H-rail track, like, you know, the Yakachak T-bolt thing, it had fallen out. So I didn't try to put it on this morning, but when I just went back for my jacket, I took the T-bolt out of another Yakachak accessory and put it in the transducer arm, and it worked. So I'm like, well, this is great. So I brought it down, put it on the boat, and then realized I had never finished the project to tighten the transducer arm, so it just flapped there. So I took it off the boat and put it back in my car, and I'm still electronicsless. But I felt bad because Michael is like finding the fish for us. Like, apparently they're just in one big school roaming around, and he has to find it on his electronics, and then we try to catch them. But I can't help because I don't have my electronics on. Again, I'm gonna like work with Strictly Sail and make this an all new setup, and it's gonna work perfectly, and I'm gonna finally fulfill my 2023 goal of learning to use my fish finder to find fish and do better at tournaments. So that's the goal for 2024. It's going to happen before my season starts, I promise you. But for right now, it's one more day of no fish finder. But you know, to be able to get out on the second week of December and fish and not be frozen solid and picking ice off my guides, I mean, what a great day. More fish would be great too. One thing I've gotten better at over the last year is not trying to like whip the cast out there to get the force, but using the rod and then just sort of flicking and letting the momentum of the cast kind of carry the lure. So still haven't mastered that when I'm casting like into the wind and stuff. Well, maybe it's not even possible that way, but I'm getting better at it because, like, you know, in my instinct, it's like, oh, I want to make a long cast. Whew, you know, gotta throw it really hard. So see, just a super easy little flick, and that blade bait, now granted a blade bait is just a little hunk of metal, so it flies, but it flew way out there and it didn't take me any effort. I just had to do a little flick. So sometimes my inner brain takes over and says, oh, work really hard and cast that out there. But I'm really trying to get used to just flick. So Michael says the fish are suspended in maybe 10, 15 feet of water, well off the bottom, you know, and that makes them really difficult to catch. So I'm going to kind of try to think out of the box, and I'm going to try this jerk bait. This is a Lucky Craft Stacy. It's a 90 SP, meaning it's a suspending. So when you go jerk, jerk, jerk and get it down to depth and then pause, it should just sort of hang there enticingly, according to the fishing world. I've never been much of a jerkbait aficionado, but when I used to fish out in California, basically when I didn't know what I was doing, these caught fish, these caught striped bass on the California Delta like crazy. These Lucky Craft in this color, just this color, yeah, they were the definite ticket to the stripers on the Delta for sure. So now I'm going to try to make my ticket to whatever's out here. So now I'm going to switch and try a Berkeley Dredger. It's a little bit of a flat-sided crankbait that gets really deep. This one's 25.5 feet, and it has this little weight in the bill, sort of like the Frit-side, the flat-sided crankbaits from Berkeley. Oh, I threw it too far. I'm getting careless. I have to go rescue my shaky head from this bush on the shore. All right, well, we're wrapping it up. So, Michael, tell the people about your many, many fish.
It was a little bit of a disappointing day, but
by his standards, by my standards, he caught a heck of a lot of fish.
it wasn't the day that we wanted to have, but I did catch a few smaller largemouth. I think you caught the biggest largemouth.
Woohoo!
I caught a...
If you're only gonna get one.
Right. And then I had a hybrid and a couple of crappie, but...
I mean, that's awesome. Look at him. He's all bummed out because he had such high expectations. You know, he wanted to make it a really great day, but it was a really great day.
It was fun. It was nice. The weather's good.
Well, thanks for inviting me to your super private lake.
Well, it's not my lake. I just joined it, but you're welcome anytime.
So for a little bit now, I've been saying about how I'm a little stubborn about doing things by myself, and I really want to make this resolve to open myself up to learning from more people, which means I have to stop fishing alone all the time and actually like make friends and fish with other people. What's really cool is that I learned two very crucial things today that I wouldn't have learned if I hadn't come out here today with Michael. I learned, well, I guess the most important thing is the importance of electronics. All year long, I've been messing around with these electronics. It just kind of dragged on and on and on with problem after problem. I should have done something like got a repair kit on the road and just, you know, redone the whole thing and been ready to fix it. I don't know, something. But I really didn't think it was all that important. I mean, I knew it was important, but yeah, you know, whatever, no electronics. Man, today, Michael with his electronics, I'm a believer. You have to have electronics to be competitive on the tournament scene. I mean, you don't have to. You can be a shallow water fisherman. You can fish the lily pads. You can fish the obvious targets, you know. But if you want to be like offshore, you know, or find fish in like the cold weather when they're not just scattered everywhere, you have to have electronics. So I'm absolutely going to get mine set up before the season starts. I mean, I already had that resolved anyway, but you know how that goes. But I really am. I believe it now. And the second thing is something that I actually heard before at a Bass University seminar, but it didn't really hit home until I saw it today with Michael. In the winter, the fish group up and they move. So in the summer, maybe every lily pad, every tree, every rock does have a fish on it. But in the winter, they're grouped up in like, schools. And here at this lake, all the fish were together. The crappie, the hybrids, the trout, the largemouth, they were all in the same kind of general area. So without electronics, we never would have pinpointed the 2 places that Michael caught fish and I eventually caught one. I was just fishing everywhere. I was making casts. It was all completely unproductive water. I didn't know that because I didn't have electronics, but it's really interesting. Those fish were definitely grouped up and they were definitely together, and it was not scattered out like I always pictured it as year round. So what I heard in that Bass University seminar was in the summer, the fish are scattered, and every cove, every stick, every cool looking thing might have a fish on it. But once they start grouping up in the colder weather, you have to just locate the bass. So that's what I haven't been doing. So that is connected with the electronics, and I'm a believer. I wouldn't really have had this lesson hammered home if I hadn't come out today. So thank you, Michael. And yeah, so it's always great to learn. All right, well, thanks for watching, you guys, and thanks so much to Strictly Sailing Kayak, since we're both on the Strictly Sailing Kayak fishing team. Michael has his Hobie 360, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's got his Hobie 360, which is kind of like the premier big kayak with a motor and all his fancy graphs, and you guys know about me and my little links, but we both got these at Strictly Sailing Kayak and do all our shopping there. So thank you, Strictly Sailing Kayak, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you out on the water on the next one.